So this week we're going to be starting up a new sermon series. We're going to be looking at James chapter 5. But before we get into that, I just want to talk about my life. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate. In my life, I grew up, and in my house, we were never really poor. We were never really wealthy, though, either. We were kind of middle class. You know, we didn't have a lot of needs because a lot of them were met. We never really went hungry. If we wanted a new toy or a new game, it was easy to access because we had income. We were middle class, as I'm sure a lot of you are. And as North Americans, our middle class is pretty big. We usually have a lot. We don't really want for that much. We don't, as I said, we don't go hungry. We have homes. We have our needs met. But my question today is, do we have too much? Looking at James 5, 1-6, begin with, "Now listen, you rich people. Weep and wail because of the misery that is coming upon you. Your wealth has rotted, and the moths have eaten your clothes. Your gold and silver are corroded. Their corrosion will testify against you and eat your flesh like fire. You have hoarded wealth in the last days. Look, the wages you failed to pay the workmen who mowed your fields are crying out against you. The cries of the harvesters have reached the ears of the Lord Almighty. You have lived on earth in luxury and self-indulgence. You have fattened yourselves up in the day of slaughter. You have condemned and murdered innocent men who are not opposing you." And the footnote there says that, or yourselves as in a day of feasting, in verse 5. Now this is a bit extreme, because, like I said, I didn't grow up wealthy, and I'm sure you didn't either. But as I said earlier, do we have too much? Do we indulge too much? Do we have too much? Life isn't about hoarding riches for ourselves. Life isn't about taking for ourselves and being selfish and self-absorbed and greedy, keeping what we have and taking it for granted. We could make so much more of a difference by volunteering our time that we usually have, and if we don't, we can easily make it, our love, and some of our finances, and we can use those to help those that are poor and are in need. What a blessed time we would live in if we would be willing to give for the glory of God and help the least of these.